Wormholes and string theory.
You didn't learn that from
No, I mean,
Stranger Things?
so conceptually, a wormhole, it depends on how you believe the universe is lined up. But if you accept the proposition that like the universe is an expansive plane that goes outward, if you were able to fold it, then two points that are very far away from one another could actually end up being close if you can pop through there, which would be what we call a wormhole. Even though we don't completely understand how they work, we're pretty sure they exist.
Yeah.
But we don't know whether they can just get you from one point to another that's far away, or could they even go back in time, forward in time?
Well, that's kind of the premise of the Stranger Things theory was
That
that
is kind of the premise of the Stranger Things theory.
they're jumping back and forth through wormholes.
Well, did you read any of the stuff too? Like, the one other part that I forgot to bring up was, so, Max was in a memory that included most of the kids' parents in high school.
Yes, I remember that. I saw
Did you
that,
read
and
any of the stuff about that?
I didn't read anything. I was watching reels on it though.
Okay, because there is speculate some of the speculation is that Henry went to school with some of them and was, like, bullied. That's the low-hanging fruit. But there's also speculation that Henry's sister really didn't die, and she could actually be, Miss Wheeler.
Really?
Yeah.
That would be crazy.
Yeah, because like, people were comparing how, Henry's sister looked. If you go back, I think she had, like, pigtails and stuff and was dressed, like, similarly to Holly Wheeler. So they're drawing some symmetry between that. But yeah, there's all different sorts of stuff.
Wow.
Yeah.
Back to wormholes though. You would need an incredible amount of power to create a wormhole. You literally would be bending space time and folding it in on itself.
Yeah, and I think that's why as we know them, and that again, that's limited, but as we know them, they're really black holes, which are naturally occurring things.
Correct.
Maybe someday, human beings or whatever species can get into that. But like you said, I mean, the amount of power, I mean, a black hole is like this all consuming thing that in its most powerful state can even bend light into it and sucks light right into it. So
What I was having a hard time wrapping my head around though, and has something to do with wormholes, is time in general.
I thought you were going to do a mom joke there.
Now, as time in general is, everything that has happened, everything that will happen is all happening simultaneously because there is no such thing as time. The only thing that
Yeah, yeah. I mean, because like they say that the only thing that makes time exist is your perception of it. So the
exactly
idea that
is
we perceive this thing, and so like you get into like what does that mean? Like we see things decay or go from young to old, or whatever. Like we interpret this thing, but is it really there, or is it only there because we interpret it?
exactly.
It's deep stuff,
And
man.
and also what's really crazy as you approach, well, if you could get to the speed of light, there is no such thing as time.
Right.
So if you could travel at the speed of light, you would not age because there is no such thing as time at the speed of light,
Allegedly.
which allegedly, well, that's Einstein theorized that,
Sure.
which is really
But what does he
crazy to
know?
me.
It is crazy. I mean, all this stuff, like, I think this is another thing, like, again, another random offshoot of this. Like, when people have conversations about the universe and, like, whether there's aliens and, like, they're like, well, we look out and, out into the universe and we don't really see anything. Like, people don't even realize that you're seeing things in the past. Because light travels at a finite speed. That's what we call a light year. So if something is 1 light year away and you're observing it from Earth, you're seeing it 1 year in the past because the light from bouncing off of it coming to you took a year to get to you. And so, like, we're observing things that are hundreds of thousands, millions of miles away. And so for every light year away they are, we're observing them that far in the past, which is really crazy. So,
Exactly.
like, all of
Hundreds
these.
of thousands of years that light took to get
Yeah,
to us.
and that's, like, even, like, the closer things, like, you can get way beyond that, And so that's what I don't think people realize, like, when we're looking out into the universe and trying to find if there's life out there. I mean, you would probably accept the proposition that there has to be life out there, right?
I mean, just based on statistics and,
Right.
well, and if you also believe that multiple, what is it? If there are any outcomes or any probabilities,
Mhm.
then that is one of the probabilities that has to be some.
Yeah, yeah.
It has
Even
to.
I mean, the question is, like, how much, not if, you know?
Yeah.
And so, like, we know that there's, like, this zone of being around a star and being so far away from it. I forget, they call it, like, the green zone, blue zone. I don't remember what
Well,
zone they
the
call it.
probability of life is like 1 in 100 trillion,
Mhm.
just life in general.
Sure.
Um, but there's an infinite amount of galaxies and an infinite
Yeah.
amount of, so
Yeah,
you
like,
don't
it's asinine just what we are aware of, and we have
exactly.
no idea how far it goes.
And we also don't know how our, like, what's the smallest unit of matter? No. I mean, what's the smallest building block of
I mean,
matter?
I think at this point, it's like quarks and leptons, like
Yeah, well,
subunits
that's
of
what they
atomic
know,
particles.
but I mean,
Right,
does it go is it smaller than that? That's what they
right.
can see, what
And
they
then,
can
like,
measure.
like, is an atom even, like, its own little planetary system, because it resembles it.
What's the biggest? I mean, maybe we're
Maybe we're
where
an
do we
atom
f
in something else.
where do we fit in that? Maybe we're microscopic relative to something super
Absolutely.
massive.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, it's really crazy, but, I mean, these are such fun conversations to have, but that to me is always, like, a basic thing that I think most people don't understand, that I think if they come across that and, like, think about it, I think it's really enlightening, like, "Ha, enlightening."
Yeah,
Um,
we're very enlightened.
yeah, but just the idea that, like, we're in the universe, and we have this idea of where life can exist in relation to a star. And we're aware of a whole bunch of galaxies out there that have, things that fall into that range, but we're looking at these things so far in the past. For all we know, they could be super societies now that are, going around their system and hopping from planet to planet, but
Do
we
you know
would
what the
never know.
you know what the Fermi paradox is?
Not off the top of my head. Please enlighten
So
me.
it's the contradiction between the high probability of extraterrestrial civilizations existing and the lack of evidence or contact with them. Basically, it says that um, either they're out there
Mhm.
and they don't want to make contact with us,
Mhm.
or they've destroyed themselves already, is basically
Well,
what
I
the
mean, you
Fermi
have to
pair.
ask yourself the question. I mean, think about the level of technology that we're talking about that would allow you one of two things. One, even to be able to communicate with somebody or something that is hundreds of thousands of light years away. I mean, so how long does it take a signal, to go that far? And then if you want to jump up a notch and say interplanetary travel, okay, well now you have to be able to travel at um multiple levels of light speed in order to not just be dying off en route to get somewhere.
Well, that's where the wormholes come into
Well,
play.
exactly. So, like, the level, and so to your point, does a civilization just die off before it ever even has that ability? Does the star that it, orbits eventually, go out or go supernova, and that planet ceases to exist, or they blow themselves up, or whatever number of things could lead to the end of a civilization? Yeah.
You know what the Van Allen belt is, though, correct?
Van Halen?
Van Allen,
Bing! No, what?
the radiation belt outside of our magnetic field.
I did not know that.
So the problem with space travel that we are limited to is we would be radiated and probably would not survive long
Yeah.
periods of time in outer space.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's, like, so many different levels to it, you know? Like, it's an inhospitable place, and, like, this goes back to
And then
simulation.
if you believe the flat Earth theories, we live on a
Yeah,
flat Earth, and
I'm a
there's
big
a.
flat earther, man.
I know you were. That's what I'm saying.
It's obvious, isn't
It
it?
is simulation theory, which just like Grand Theft Auto, where once you reach the edge of the map, it drops you back in the middle of it.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, it is kinda crazy when you talk about these ideas of the universe and how spread out everything is, and then all the inhospitable conditions that exist. For one, it's just a vacuum, so, I mean, there's no pressure, there's no air, there's no nothing, but then you're dealing with radiation, and then you're dealing with these just obscenely, long distances, like crazy, like, just it's it's wild. Like, if you were gonna make a simulation, that's exactly how you would do it.
Exactly.
So,
I agree.
food for thought.
But, you know, is there other life out there? I mean, you would have to speculate, probably. Are they interested in what we're doing if they're advanced enough to come here? I don't know. Not unless they were.
Well, this is the other, like, sticking point. When people think I'm sorry, but the Area 51 stuff and people getting all hyped about that, so let's so we've been talking about these concepts, like, we're talking about wormholes and the kind of technology you would need in order to, like, harness something like that and actually utilize it for travel and survive, a black hole in order to get to the other side. I mean, just crazy levels of technology that we can't even fathom. But then they get here and they crash. Okay,
It's our radio signals that make them crash, though.
sure, sure. So again, like when you parse this out, it's like, okay, yeah, right. They just crash. They get here and they're like, oh man, space with no problem. But that Earth atmosphere, watch, it'll get you.
You don't know.
I mean, no, I don't. But I mean,
Maybe it was that time of year. Maybe they were out drinking and they got a little bit too lit.
maybe, yeah.
They're like,
But it
oh,
is kind of
remember?
funny when you think about it in that way. It's like,
I've always thought that too.
yeah, like I think aliens exist, but if they can make it here, the type of technology that it would require to get from wherever they're coming from to here, there's no way they just crash land.
That's a very valid point.
Yeah, like I just don't see it.
It's a very valid.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I love like all alien lore and X-Files and everything. It's a really fun concept to think about, but when you kind of parse it out, it doesn't really jive.
No, I agree.
I mean, even we're pretty good at not crashing in our atmosphere. So,
Fair,
yeah.
fairly good,
Fairly good. Yeah, I mean,
fairly
they
good.
say it's the safest form of travel.
N- Not actually when you break it down per mile. I think mile traveled.
Well, I actually like the breakdown of how many people actually survive the crashes.
That's where I'm at too.
Yeah, like, a lot of people survive car crashes.
Typically,
Very few survive aeronautical accidents.
always go by boat.